Welcome to Toronto TV. Today we have invited a celebrity guest, Karygiannis, to join our talk about the government funding. My co-host Rebecca. Hi Rebecca. Hi Jim.
Good morning. How are you today?
Okay, very good. Yeah. So Jim, can you introduce yourself?
Well, number one, I want to thank you, Joseph and Rebecca, for having me on the show. My name is Jim Karygiannis. I am the principal of GTA Strategies. This is a firm that I've opened up after I left politics, and this firm does lobbying. We do provincial, municipal, and federal work. And one of our branches that we do is we write grants, proposals, in order for people to get funding for community associations. And I think this is our topic of the day.
Mm-hmm. I know that you have been in government for many years.
Oh, well, I wanted to get rid of
tell the audience about your,
okay.
Your like famous history.
Look, I was in federal government for 26 years and city for 6 years. I first ran in 1987 provincially under David Peterson in Riverdale. This is Chinatown East, I would say, and Greektown. I did not win. Thank God I didn't win, because after 3 years they lost, and they lost big. And then in 1988, I ran federally, and I got elected time and time again with great pluralities in Scarborough Regional Court. And I also want to take this time through your show, Joseph and Rebecca, to say thank you to my constituents for 32 years of allowing me to serve them in politics. Time moved on. I retired from politics, and I spending time at home and enjoying my grandkids. I've got two of them. I got one, she's 2.5, Evelyn, and I got Zoe, which is 6 months old. So I enjoy my grandkids, and I'm working from home, and I sometimes have the opportunity to play with them. So that's the greatest thing that you can do in your later part of your life, is to enjoy your grandkids.
Okay. So Rebecca, we'll start the first question. Yeah.
So Jim is our good friend in our Chinese community, right? Our old friend.
Thank you.
Always support. And I think you start your political life in Scarborough, right?
I started my political career the first time. I mean, I was not elected, but when I ran, it was in Riverdale, which is Toronto Danforth. This is between Broadview and Coxwell, in that area. I was there was a Greek town, and I was the chairperson of the business area. And then I got first elected in Scarborough in 1988 to Scarborough Regional Court, and Scarborough Regional Court has been life. This is where home is. This is where my family lives. All my daughters have homes in Scarborough Regional Court. My grandkids will go to school in Scarborough Regional Court.
Over 20 years. Good
32,
memories.
exactly. 32. Yes, good memories. Good memories.
So regarding the government funding, Jim, I have a question for you.
Yes.
So that as a reporter, I cover many non-profit organizations, and the only question, the most question they ask is they are lack of funding, and they need support from the community and the government, and they have no way to
Joseph,
hold off the government funding, except like the big guys like Yihong, Mangsong. They always get the
Joseph, it doesn't matter if you're Munshong, it doesn't matter if you're Starlight Chinese Opera or Starlight Singers or Golden Seniors or organizations. These are some of my clients. You stand an equal chance of getting funding. The problem is that if you're big organizations like Munshong, Yihong, they have a person that they have inside, and they've hired that person to do grant writing and research. So what we've done in my firm, there's 5 people that we work together, and one of our subsidiaries does only grant research and grant writing. So we research to see what grants are available, and then we work with organizations as long as they're non-for-profit and as long as they have their financial records up to date. A lot of small organizations they are non-for-profit, but they don't keep up their books up to date. Most important thing is to have your books up to date and to be nonprofit registered with the province of Ontario. We help them, and we look after it. We started small, and we have a lot of clients at this very moment. And what we do is we take them from A to Z. Like we start with them, we ask them the questions, then we fill in the application, we submit the application, we monitor the application, and we make sure at the end of the day that the application that they submit is successful. We have churches, we have community organizations, we have mosques, temples, non-for-profit organizations, veterans associations that we work with, and there is a grant that comes out, if not daily, at least weekly. So one of the things that we do, we have a list of communities that we work with, and we send them those grants, and we say, okay, are you interested to apply? And if they are, then we work with them, we meet them, and we make sure that they apply, and they apply well.
Great. So not only just provide funding and let it be, instead of that, you're helping them, right?
Well, if I can speak a little bit about the work that we do, we have two streams. One, if somebody wants to hire us to do a grant, a writing for them, one-off, that's fine. Or what they can do is hire us monthly, and in that monthly, we look after their provincial, municipal, and federal work. The only thing we don't touch is immigration. We can give advice on immigration, but you take that advice with a grain of salt. I'm not an immigration consultant, although 26 years of doing immigration federally, I know more than a lot of immigration consultants, but we do not touch immigration. Our fees are very reasonable. We're available to the clients 24/7. So if you got a problem, I mean, like, let's say if you're a community center and you're a client and you got a problem with the city, like rezoning, we're there with you. If you got a problem with Canada Revenue Agency and you want to get a charitable number, we're there with you. If you want to put a grant application in, we're there with you. And right now, as we speak, there's a lot of grants that are available. One of the grants that is available, and I want to mention that if I can, so people do not miss it, is the federal government has what it's called green and inclusive community buildings call for proposals. And this is for organizations that want to build a community center, organizations that have land and they want to put a community center on it. The federal government will give them anything between $3 to $25 million to build a community center. Here's a caveat though. It cannot be tied to a religious organization. So if you've got a church and you build a community center, you cannot apply. However, if you're a community organization and you got a building that you want to tear down, build a new one, you can apply between $3 and $25 million. And that closes on July the 6th. So if there's anybody out there that's listening to this thing and wants to apply, you got to apply before July the 26th. However, in the same program, if you got an older building in your community center and you want to retrofit it, so like you want to put new roof, new panels, new windows, you want to bring it up to environmentally friendly and environmentally sound, you can, and that is allowed until 2025. There's all kinds of programs for seniors, for kids, for people to cope with COVID. There's all kinds of things. At this very moment, our firm is looking after 6 different proposals. Some of them close as early as June 25th, others on July 6th, and others on July 15th. There's programs for seniors, for kids, and everything else. And our fees are very reasonable.
So your fee is upfront fee or retainer fee?
Well, you can work with us in two scenarios. One, we can do one proposal, one-offs as we call it, and that's $700. No hidden fees afterwards, no percentages, nothing. We charge you $700 and we take you from start to finish. We work with you from start to finish. Or if you can afford it and you can hire us monthly for all the monthly proposals. And this is not one proposal, 2 proposals, 3 proposals. There is an organization right now. This is the 4th proposal we're putting them in them this month. Our monthly fee is $1,000. So, it's very reasonable.
Those fees are upfront fee, not after like they got the.
No, see, look, if we've been burned a couple of times, people sort of walked away from us. So if you want to engage us, we give you a proposal, and the proposal spells out our work. Then we enter into a contract. Then you pay us. We do the proposal. We submit the proposal, and we're there with you 24/7 until that proposal is done. If you're a monthly client, you've got 24/7 accessibility to us, and we look after all your proposals, all your work, and all your headaches. Again, no immigration. Ask us questions about immigration, we'll tell you, but don't ask us to do immigration work. We're not allowed to.
That's a big money on the immigration. All right. So, you know, $1,000 is not much because it's not enough to hire a person to do, especially for this task.
I mean, look, if you're a large organization and you got somebody that's in that role, the least that you're going to pay him is anywhere between $60,000 to $70,000. And I'm not saying fire that person, by all means, I'm not saying that, but our organization can do it for, you know, a monthly fee of $1,000, which is $12,000 a year. And we have more access to funding and finding out what funding is. And the other thing is that I, having been a politician, I have access to not only politicians, but I also have access to the bureaucracy. So if I have a question, I mean, it takes me 5 minutes to pick up the phone, call somebody and say, look, I need an answer to this. Somebody which is working at a, let's say, charity, although they can pick up the phone, it's not the same as if you send an email and say, M.P. email, and in brackets former MP asking a question. That carries a lot of weight, and we have a lot of work that we have done, and we'll continue doing that work with the communities. And throughout my history, I did work on communities, and this is where I still. But that's not where we make our money. We make our money in other projects. We make our money in rezoning. We make our money in lobbying federally. We do have a lot of clients. There's a lot of clients within the Chinese community. Matter of fact, one of our clients is a daily newspaper that we're.
I got lots of questions.
Fire away.
So today we are focused on GTA strategies with some grant proposals. So Jim, would you like to introduce a couple of details, like how many initiatives?
Well, at this very moment, I will read you the initiatives. There is 6. There's Social Development Partnership Program, the Professional Arts Festivals and Performing Arts Series, presenters building communities through arts and heritage local festivals, Canada Healthy Communities Initiative, Community Support Multiculturalism and Anti-Racism Initiative Program, Events Development, the Intersectorial Action Fund, Green and Inclusive Communities, and there's another one, which is money for seniors. So these grants right now are at play, and we work with people in order to make sure that that people get their funding.
I see.
And we look after you 24/7.
So it covers social development, arts and heritage, healthy community support, multicultural and anti-racism.
Festivals, Intersectorial Action Fund. It covers youth in crisis, financial empowerment for low-income people, social inclusion of vulnerable children and youth, professional. It covers a lot of spectrums and a lot of wide breadth of funding, and it's there. And the only thing you got to be a community organization, non-for-profit, have your books up to date, and we're there for you to call us. We're there to help.
Does your company?
The company's called GTA Strategies.
I know. Does this GTA Strategies register as a lobbyist?
We're lobbyists. We're registered lobbyists. So if we're lobbying for you, we will register. Like, let's say we're working on a project within the city of Toronto. We will register with the city, and then we've done a lot of work for them. If we're federal, I will register federally, and we've done work provincially. So we will register lobbyists. There is codes. There's a code that we have to adhere to. We have to, every phone call that we make to an elected official or to a government official, we have to record it. And our fees are reasonable. And well, of course, we also have to charge HST. So, you know, the $1,000 a monthly fee, that turns out to be $1,130 with HST. But we're there to help.
Money. Yeah.
Well, you know what? We all have to pay our taxes.
Yeah, that's true. So one thing I very have a puzzle for a long time. When we look at, say, the federal budget or levels of government budget, it's always the deficit budget. Okay, and then they tell us that, say, we don't have enough money to do this, to do that. Suddenly, and then our minister comes out and say, hey, we have $100 million for some projects. We have $900 million for we projects. So where the money comes from? One side they tell me you are in red. The other side you have lots of money to spend.
Joseph, I was in government for 26 years, so
yeah, that's why I asked you that.
You know, like there's all kinds of money available for projects. Although they cry, and although they say we don't have money, and we have to we have to make sure that we're frugal and we have to pay down the debt. There is funding. There's funding for programs, because if there's no funding for programs, and if you don't look after the people in need, then like the community will be desperate, and there's people out there that need a lot of help. There's a lot of seniors that need a place to I mean, even if you're staying at home with your family, you need to go out once a week. And there are community organizations that do this work. Those are the people that look for funding. I mean, they're volunteers, but if you go to, let's say, to a gathering of seniors, there's going to be tea, there's going to be cookies. Well, somebody has to pay for that. And the volunteers, although they put their time together, they have to buy the fruits, and they have to buy the tea, and then they have to rent the space. So that's where the money comes in from. And that's where the government steps up and has money. So I will say to you, when a politician says we don't have money, you have to say, okay, tell me about the programs. Mm-hmm. I don't want to use words as half truths, or the glass is half empty. Tell me about your programs. There's programs there that certainly are available for community and community nonprofit organizations that you can apply for, whether you hire us to work with you or you do it on your own. I mean, there's a lot of successful people that apply for grants. The one thing that to hire us, that we do the work, a very minimal amount of money, and you don't have to worry about the headaches. You don't have to worry about the language, and you don't have to worry about who do I call. We will do all that for you.
I see. What about the success rate for your company? Because I believe there's no guarantee for the proposal.
Listen, let me put it this way. There is grants that you apply, and although your application could be the best, you don't get it. There's a grant right now. We're going on a second round. It's called Canadian Healthy Communities Initiative. And in the first round, there were 200 people that got the grant. 3,000 people applied. So what we tell our clients, if it's one-offs, if one proposal is not successful, we'll work with you on a second proposal. We won't charge you for the second proposal. Like, we don't let our clients hang and dry. We've gotten money to people that they were tried for years and years and years to get money. When I was the member of parliament and was the city councillor, I worked with one particular organization to get them funding for a food bank. Well, just recently, their monthly client, we got him $65,000 for the food bank. So we must be doing something right. And our success rate, I'm not going to say that it's 100%. It's high. And like I said, if a grant is not successful, and if like the one-offs, then we'll work with you on another proposal to make sure that you don't feel that we left you hanging and dry. There's proposals that could be that your books are not correct. There's a lot of people applying. We didn't write the right stuff. And although we try our hardest, but we won't let you dry. The monthly people, will just keep on working with them. And we're, and if you're not successful, you're not going to get more clients. And we started in October of last year, and right now there's 5 people in the firm. So we must be doing something right. Because if you're not, It grows slowly.
Okay.
I mean, humble steps. We respect our clients. We work with them, and we make sure that they get their money's worth, and we get them the money that they need in order to run the programs. That's the most important thing. Being able to run the programs for people that need programming, people that are marginalized, people within the ethnic communities, people that are not mainstream and multicultural community, diverse community, and people that are low income that get help from people. I mean, a food bank is very important, because if you don't have money to go and buy food, you'll go hungry, and if you go hungry, you can't feed the kids. And feeding the kids is very important. So getting money for a food bank is very, very important. And we felt very proud of the work that we did for that company.
That's true.
There's even money for TV producers.
Between the non-profit organization
Joseph,
and the government.
Joseph, did you hear me? There's money for TV producers. There's money for newspapers. So the government of Canada is there to help people. So you never know. I might talk to you about becoming one of our clients, Joseph. I'm only kidding.
We'll talk one day.
Sorry, Rebecca. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You know, I heard a good story about the media. Say one TV station, they got 11 million from federal government, Canada Media Fund, for the last 11 years.
There's
17 million for last.
There's a Chinese daily newspaper that has received money, and there's one of our clients is a Tamil newspaper, and we just finished their application. We put it in, so there's funding for everything.
Okay.
Yeah. So the people, like, they cannot find the door. You are helping them to get the door, right?
We were there to open the door for you. We're there to walk with you through the door. We're there to make sure that you go on the other side, that there's light in the room. We're there to make sure that when you go through the other side, not only there's light in the room, but there's also a couple of dollar signs that come your way in order for you to run those programs, to run the daily newspapers, to run the radio stations, to run things. I mean, the government of Canada, provincial and federal and municipal, they're very grateful, and they've got money, and they got pet projects, and if you're able to tap into those pet projects, you do well. We have clients out in the West. I mean, yesterday I was speaking to somebody out in Alberta, and clients in Winnipeg, that they're applying for provincial grants, and we're working with them there. So, like, if a client needs help, I'd say, look, pick up the phone, call a company that does proposal writings. Call us, call somebody else, and they should be there to be able to help you.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what you pay them for. We can fool you once, and we say, we can get you the grant, but second time we won't. And our firm is unlike other firms, where other firms say to you, look, we'll write the grant, and we'll charge you something, and then we'll get a percentage. No, there's no percentage. There's no percentage with us. No, we just write the grant, and when you get it. And there's some grants that you cannot possibly get percentage, but what happened, lobbyists build that percentage in as administrative fees. We're not going to do that.
Okay, that's true. So, I do come across, like, you're talking about, say, those grants are for non-profit and not-for-profit organizations. But I do see, two scenarios that the Liberal government giving money to ketchup manufacturer, and also a Conservative government giving money to juice manufacturer. So
yes, there is money. No, okay, there is money. There's money for companies to move forward. There's money for companies to do innovative work. There's money for companies to retool, and there's money for government for companies to hire individuals. So we talked all this time about nonprofit organizations. So now let me tell you about the work that we do for the companies. We were working with a company that does modular homes. And they wanted these modular homes are prefabricated homes that put up. So we're working right now with the infrastructure funding and with the First Nations communities in order to build homes on reservations. We're also working with municipalities in order for them to build homes that homeless can live in. We were working with the government. We had another company that we were working with, and we still work with them, that does hand sanitation sprays. And we work with them when we got the money in order for them to buy updated machines, in order for them to train personnel, in order for them to be able to produce when that need for COVID was there, and it's still there. So there's government funding for almost everything you think about. You just need to know how to get to it, and you need to know what door to open and who to talk to, and to write the appropriate proposal. Now, this is something that I've said to people in private, and I've said to people in public. When a proposal is written, it might have the best scenario forward, but a lot of proposals are skimmed by a computer, like they're read by a computer, and if the computer has to pick up so many words. If the computer doesn't pick up those many words, it doesn't kick it to the person to read. And there's people that actually read the proposals, and they look for key words in order for them to catch. That's where our expertise comes in, and we make sure that your proposal gets in front of a person that reads it. And if we need to, then we also get in touch and say, look, this proposal is there. Can we answer any questions you might have? We just want to make sure that when something is written, they understand. The same thing with rezoning. The same thing with, trying to make sure that a property that is that wants to be split, or somebody that wants to build a bunch of townhouses, or somebody that wants to build a condominium, that we get in touch with a community organization, we speak to the planner, and move things forward. That's the job of a lobbyist. And if you have the right people and you had the experience, you become successful. And for something that we've been running for 9 months, I think we're not doing too bad.
Yeah. Anyway, I think I should say thank you to you, because from your email, I do get a set of those information about government funding.
Yeah, you will. And you know
what?
No,
I see. Those information should be should be sending to me from those politicians, but unfortunately not. It's getting it from you. So that's why I should say thank you. Right?
Joseph, I thank you for those words.
I think you say I never applied a government funding before, but I think
this is always the first time.
I think I do come across like RFP. So when we look at that RFP, there's so many questions, so many pages, I will turn away. I think you're right.
But that's where we come in. That's where we come in.
That's why we need expertise to do that.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, thank you, folks. Have yourself a wonderful day. Joseph, Rebecca, and all the best.
Okay, sure. Thank you for talking to us.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
You take care. I hope your business keep going. All right.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye. Thanks very much. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.